Perhaps we could have a word on the fares. It would appear some good news for
well, yes.
London's...
I mean, I'm not going to. I don't want to over egg this, Nick. But we've I pledged to bear down on fares if I could, and we have, and I'm very pleased that we've been able to keep our fares at RPI. Effectively, that means on the services that TfL is running, we're keeping them down to about 1.8%, and that obviously the daily Oyster pay-as-you-go cap will continue to be frozen for the second year running.
How have you managed it, Mr. Mayor?
Well, don't forget that this is going hand in hand with a programme of cost-cutting and of modernisation that is vital for our network. And what we have not done, I want to stress that we have not in any way prejudiced our ability to invest in the network. I mean, all the things that we pledged to do, all the things that I said I was going to do on the network have continued to be funded. Crossrail is going ahead. The Northern Line extension is going ahead.
Some of those travel cards have gone up there, haven't they, Mr. Mayor? Zone 1 to 3 goes up to £37. Zones 1 through 6, 1 to 6 goes up to £58. I mean, they're fairly healthy increases, aren't they? Yes,
don't forget that the difficulty we have with the travel cards is that those fares are partly controlled by Network Rail, by the railway companies, and I think we argued for a long time that it'd be a good thing to have an abatement there. We weren't successful, but so what we've done to reduce the rise for Londoners is to reduce our share as much as we possibly can.
Do you think it offers good value for money then, the London Underground?
Look, I'm not going to pretend that this is a massive swinging fare cut. It's not that, and everybody can see that. But it's what we're doing is doing our level best to keep fares as low as we possibly can, and to modernise the network, to modernise the system. Earlier caller asked what we're doing with ticket offices. There are obviously ways of raising revenue and getting more people out there to help passengers without any compulsory redundancies. I want to stress that, without any compulsory redundancies.
We spoke to Bob Crow earlier in the show. He asked us to put this to you.
Oh, I'd like to have a meeting with the Mayor of London. He's been in office now for nearly 8 years. He meets all commerce. But he refuses to meet the RMT. We're the biggest union on the Underground, and we would like to have an opportunity to put our side of the story, what's taking place. And the message I'd like to send to the Mayor is that all the spin that he's put on regarding all-night working, which, by the way, we're a big supporter of all-night working in the Tube, but I want to know, first of all, what the police think about it. Because I was told that the police are supposed to be looking after us when we're in our beds at night. How are they going to be overstretched a bit, I think? There's no more resources, and they'll be expected to run around 260 tube stations with people fueled up with even more booze and drugs to them than what they've got now.
Are you telling me you've never met with the Mayor?
I met him once briefly on radio, and I said to him at that meeting, it'd be nice just to have a meeting a couple of times a year for half an hour. I respect his position, that he's the elected Mayor, and I do respect his position. That's what the people of London have elected him. But he should respect our position, that we represent workers on the Underground.
And so he's not met with you in a professional capacity?
No.
He's never met with you?
No.
Why is that, Mr. Mayor?
You're talking to me now?
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to take that aggressive tone. Yeah, I am talking to you now.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, the RMT are currently balloting for
it starts today.
For a strike.
Yep.
If I have no intention of entering into any kind of negotiation.
They say 1,000 jobs could go, safety will be affected, the network will be a hollowed-out shell.
Well, that's complete nonsense. And he's also I think, Bob Crow's also just said...
They support overnight working, they just want to meet with you.
They support overnight working, and they support modernisation of the Tube. Well, that is what we're trying to do. And I stress that the name of the game is, and the reason, I mean, Bob always says this, then the reason that it wouldn't be wise for me to meet him in these sorts of circumstances is, it's perfectly obvious. It's because we have negotiators, we have people running our Tube network for us, and it would be completely crazy to undermine them or to try to second guess them and to supplant myself for their negotiation. Now,
over 8 years, you've met him once in a radio studio. That's kind of strange, isn't it?
Why? I mean, it's perfectly reasonable.
Because sadly, he has a massive hand in the fate of Londoners when it comes to deciding to switch off the Tube network. Well, and if I were in your shoes, like him or lump him, I'm going to think, well, I better get alongside this bloke.
Well, I think you'll find that the objective of the RMT is to recruit more members to the RMT, and they, in my view, that they there's a great deal on the table. I urge Bob and Crow and his colleagues to take it, and I stress this. What we are doing is actually expanding the tube network. We're investing massively, as I said just now. We're investing massively in the in expanding in running 24-hour trains, for instance, which will mean that there are more jobs, more opportunities for hardworking people, and we want to support that. And I hope that Bob Crow will do as well.